There's like 10 of them right now.
You've probably seen them on social media. Videos going viral of driverless taxis in San Francisco causing traffic jams.
This is what our country's come to.
And as the frustrations grow, the oversight seems to be on its own jerky ride. Just a week and a half ago, California regulators voted to allow two companies, Waymo and Cruise, to start offering 24/7 autonomous taxi service. But over the weekend, California's DMV demanded that Cruise cut its operating fleet in half while they investigate recent crashes. Walking down the streets of San Francisco, you almost can't miss these driverless robotaxis. And even though the city by the Bay is a famously tolerant place, these newcomers are getting a pretty wide range of reactions.
I think the technology is amazing. It feels like we're living with the Jetsons.
I think it's not safe, despite them saying it is safe. I think it's going just one step too far.
Look at this.
Driving the debate, regular snafus.
There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 cruise cars blocking. No one can get through.
Just one day after California approved the expanded use of driverless cars, nearly a dozen robotaxis froze, creating a traffic jam.
And I looked and there were no drivers in them.
Then, a New York Times report of one getting stuck in wet cement.
Look at this, guys.
And separately, a cruise taxi collided with a fire truck last week, preventing it from responding to a fire, according to NBC Bay Area. San Francisco's fire chief previously telling NBC News the company's helpline just doesn't cut it in an emergency situation.
We don't have time to call a 1-800 number when we are trying to get to an incident to do our job. It's impacting public safety, and my concern is that it's going to have dire consequences at some point.
Those concerns have prompted activists to fight back, using traffic cones to confuse the vehicle's sensors. Cruise is pushing back on safety criticisms, saying, quote, Cruise's safety record is strong and we're proud of it. More than 3 million driverless miles in San Francisco without a single fatality or life-threatening injury. They added that they continue to make improvements. Waymo, the other self-driving taxi company owned by Google's Alphabet, did not respond to our request for comment, but has also defended its safety record. Across the whole country last year, there were 1.35 deaths per 100 million miles driven by humans, according to the federal government. The robotaxis here still have a lot of driving to do just to make a fair comparison. I've been in several myself as a resident of the area. The rides got me from point A to point B every time and were relatively uneventful, which isn't always the case. Reports that some people are having sex in the robotaxis with no driver around to stop them, adding to the intrigue for locals in the city.
It's cheaper than a hotel room, but a little cramped. We're very inventive when it comes to illegal sexual activity in this town.
Southern California slammed with a tropical storm, the first to move across the region since 1997, bringing mudslides and dangerous flash flooding.
And Lindsay, the images are quite staggering. Take a look at this. With heavy rainfall in San Diego saturating the ground, trees like this have been uprooted and have collapsed.
One of just several weather emergencies across the country. Our team is tracking it all. We begin with Rob Marciano in Palm Desert, California. Good morning, Rob.
Hey, good morning, George. Yeah, quite a scene here yesterday as Tropical Storm Hillary cut its way across Southern California right into the deserts here. We had a lot of rain with that, record-breaking in Palm Springs and Palmdale in San Diego. We also have big-time winds. Here we had about a 4-hour stretch of 40-plus mile-an-hour winds. That was certainly enough to take down this really big eucalyptus tree, which was no match for this historic storm.
Overnight, millions of Americans under alert as Hillary slams the West. With up to 84-mile-per-hour wind gusts, Hillary officially the first tropical storm to hit Southern California in more than 25 years. Bringing with it catastrophic rainfall, historic flooding, and dangerous mudslides. Palm Springs receiving more than half of its annual rainfall from this tropical storm alone.
The center of Hillary now coming through the center of Palm Springs. A tropical storm going through the middle of a California desert.
His car is floating.
Across the region, cars submerged. Watch this golf course inundated.
That's a river. It's not a golf course.
Emergency crews launching rescue missions. And in San Bernardino County, dramatic video of a massive mud flow.
You have 500 to 700 people, approximately residents that are having to shelter into place.
Firefighters trapped at their fire station after a mudslide surrounded the building. No injuries were reported, but the mudslides appear to be cutting off some mountain communities in the region. And in Los Angeles, the sheriff's department helicopter sounding the alarm, warning people to move to higher ground ahead of the storm. And in the middle of the storm, a magnitude 5.1 earthquake striking the LA area.
Chief, I'm really sorry to interrupt you right now. Our studio is shaking right now, so not only are we dealing with a tropical storm, but it appears we're now dealing with an earthquake.
The Los Angeles Unified School District, the second largest in the country, closing today.
Yeah, and an earthquake. Can you believe that? One not related to the other. Just gives you an idea how crazy yesterday was. There is a link to climate change as far as the extreme rainfall that we get in these sort of events, and we can expect that to increase going forward. And the rainfall, yeah, we did get that. Let's take a look at some of these numbers. Over 10 inches of rain falling across parts of San Bernardino County, LA County getting a half a foot. We mentioned Palm Springs and San Diego. The bulk of the moisture now is moving up into the Sierras. This is no longer a tropical anything really. It's just a mass of moisture. We still have flash flood warnings into parts of the Sierras and watches all the way up into the Northwest. Not quite up into the fire area of Washington, unfortunately for those folks who are struggling there.
In Atlanta, attorneys for former President Donald Trump striking a deal with the Fulton County prosecutor to surrender at the county jail Thursday for fingerprinting and his mugshot photo. The agreement calls for Trump to be released on $200,000 bond and with clear-cut conditions. Trump can make no direct or indirect threat towards any potential witnesses, including his 18 alleged co-conspirators. That provision also including posts on social media or reposts of posts made by another individual. Trump's defense lawyers, a judge, and top Fulton County prosecutor Fani Willis signing off on those terms. Last week, Willis handed down an indictment accusing Trump of orchestrating a scheme to reverse his 2020 election loss to Joe Biden. $100,000 bonds were set for Trump attorneys John Eastman and Kenneth Chesborough, who were also due to surrender at the Fulton jail this week. Sources tell ABC News Trump pre-taped an interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson to run head-to-head against tomorrow's first 2024 Republican presidential debate in Milwaukee. Trump on social media posting that he's not attending, adding the public knows who I am and what a successful presidency I had. I will, therefore, not be doing the debates. His rivals pouncing.
He's a coward. If I had his record, I'd be nervous about showing up too.
Nobody is entitled to anything in this world, less of all the...
And a new NBC News Des Moines Register Mediacom poll finds 42% of likely Iowa caucus goers backing Trump as their first choice for president, with DeSantis following at 19% and 7 other candidates holding single-digit support numbers.
Teen lifeguards struck by lightning.
Yes, we're at Landis Pool. One of my lifeguards just got struck by lightning.
Brinley Steger was working at her local pool in Landis, North Carolina, when a storm hit. She ran out to fix an umbrella toppled by the winds.
The wind was like lifting chairs and umbrellas and tables. It was really bad.
Brinley's mom, Sonia, raced to the pool to pick her up. She filmed the ominous clouds rolling into town. The storm packed a violent punch. Lightning, wind-toppled trees.
Oh my God!
And thunder. When Mom got there, she found Brinley sprawled on the ground, struck by lightning.
I felt the tingling sensation throughout my whole body. It was just from my elbow down to my fingertips, and it was just like excruciating pain.
The 15-year-old was rushed to the hospital where she stayed for 24 hours. Brinley is now home, recovering under the watchful eye of Mom, her own personal lifeguard.
My little miracle, for sure.